Right now, somewhere, two people are kissing for the very first time, and neither of them was taught how. Nobody ever is. Eyes close, head tilts, lips meet. Automatic, almost embarrassing how little thought goes into it. And that should feel stranger than it does, because something figured this move out long before either of them existed. 16 million years before, in fact. In 2025, a team of researchers at Oxford did something nobody had tried before. They didn't ask why humans kiss. Psychologists have guessed at that for decades. They asked a stranger question: how far back does kissing actually go? So they built a statistical model, ran it 10 million times, and mapped kissing across the great ape family tree. Chimpanzees, bonobos, gorillas, orangutans, humans. The results surprised even them. Kissing didn't start with humans at all. It traces back to a single common ancestor, somewhere between 21 and 16 million years ago. 16 million years before the first campfire. Before language. Before anything we'd recognize as human. So the mystery is solved, right? We inherited it, end of story. Except, that number tells us when, not why. Something that old, that consistent across species that don't even share a language or a culture, isn't a romantic custom. It's something deeper in the wiring. And that's where it gets interesting, because scientists don't actually agree on what that something is. The first theory is almost unromantic on purpose. Watch a chimpanzee groom another chimpanzee, and you'll notice the session usually ends the same way. Mouth pressed briefly to skin, lips slightly pursed, as if finishing a task. Researchers call this the groomer's final kiss. For millions of years, grooming wasn't affection, it was hygiene, picking parasites, tending wounds. But once our ancestors lost most of their body hair, the grooming had less to actually do. What stayed behind was the ending. The kiss outlived the job it was built for. There's a second theory, and it starts somewhere you wouldn't expect: a mother's mouth. Many primates chew food before passing it, mouth to mouth, into an infant too young to eat on its own. It's called premastication, and it's still practiced by some human communities today. A baby's first experience of another mouth touching theirs isn't romance. It's survival. Some researchers now think adult kissing may be an echo of that first bond, repurposed later in life for something else entirely. Evolutionary anthropologist Adriano Lameira, publishing in 2024, leans toward the grooming explanation, arguing it's the more conservative, better supported read of grade 8 behavior. Meanwhile, a separate Oxford-led study, published in Evolution and Human Behavior, argues the grooming theory doesn't fully hold up under their modeling. Two rigorous teams, two different papers, no consensus. Which tells you something important. This isn't settled science. It's still being argued over, right now, in real journals. But here's where it stops being about grooming or feeding entirely. When two people kiss, they're not just touching. They're trading saliva, and with it, an enormous amount of hidden biological information. Chemical signals about health, hormonal state, even, some researchers argue, unconscious cues about genetic compatibility, the kind of thing your brain can detect without you ever knowing you're detecting it. A chimpanzee grooming a rival isn't running this calculation. A human kissing someone new, even for the first time, might be, without either person realizing it. Now, you'd assume something this ancient would show up everywhere, immediately, in the same form. It doesn't, and that gap is its own clue. The oldest confirmed written record of a romantic kiss comes from a Mesopotamian clay tablet, dated to roughly 2500 BC, nearly 4,500 years ago, almost 1,000 years earlier than historians previously believed. And in 2023, researchers connected that same era to something unexpected. A new strain of the herpes simplex virus, one still carried by billions of people today, appears to have emerged and spread around the same Bronze Age period. A gesture of affection, quietly rewriting a virus's evolutionary path, thousands of years before anyone knew what a virus even was. That's the strange power of something this small. A 2-second act of contact was old enough to predate spoken language, common enough to reshape a virus's history, and specific enough that entire civilizations built customs, taboos, and rituals around exactly when and with whom it was allowed. Which brings it back to you. The next time it happens, and it will probably without a second thought, some part of what's running is at least 16 million years old. You're not inventing the moment. You're repeating one your ancestors were already repeating, back when none of them had a word for love, or even a word at all. So if you kiss someone today, know that you're not starting anything new, but just the latest rerun of something 16 million years old. And hey, if that happens to be tonight, if this is the video that makes you think twice next time you kiss someone, that's basically a subscribe in disguise. Might as well make it official. We like to think of a kiss as the most human thing we do. The truth is almost the opposite. It's one of the oldest things we do, and being human was never a requirement for it. We just never stopped.